Hi everybody, welcome back. This is our last tutorial related to technology and assessment. So the last one we're going to look at is Socrative, and this is a really fantastic option if you're looking to do formative assessments or summative assessments. But for me in particular, it always worked out well for summative because it was a great place where I could have my students take a quiz, take an exam, and everything was organized and saved, and it graded it all for me. And it was really, really great item to have in your toolbox for technology. So to log in, you'll have two different options. You'll have the student login, which is where your students will go to take your quiz, and then your teacher login. And you just sign in with Google. You can use your AU, Gmail, or whatever it is that you would like. Now, once you're inside, you're going to notice you have different options here on the menu bar. Launch, this is where you will actually literally launch the assessment for your students to be able to take it. Now you'll notice the rest of the menu bar, you have your quizzes. So your quizzes that you've created will be listed here and they'll be ordered by date. The room, now this is very important because when you are creating an assessment, you need to be able to make sure your students can access it. So you're going to choose a name, simply click on the pencil, and that will allow you to change your room name. I would recommend something that's related to either the school you're at, the grade level you're in, or the class specifically that you're teaching. For instance, I teach at Ashland University. I teach a COM 101 course. So this course right here, the room name is AU COM 101. Very simple. Of course, it's not available because I'm already using it, but that is a very simple and easy technique that you can use to have your students be able to log in and try to keep it consistent for your specific class. The sharing option, this is going to be unavailable to you as this is a paid service, part of the paid service, as well as these other options here. You can only have one room at a time. So if you're going to be trying to have two separate assessments going at the same time, it's not going to work unless you go to the paid model. So be very careful. I've had to learn this the hard way because you don't want, so for instance, if you have, for instance, a midterm exam and you have two or three classes taking it at the same time, maybe a grade 10 and a grade 11, and you try to have both of these open at the same time, that's not going to work. So you can only have one assessment open at one time using the free version. Reports, this is where you will go and you will find your information. This is where you can find the results of your specific assessments that you conducted. So to get started, we're going to select the quizzes option. You're going to notice I have one from earlier today. You simply go and select Add Quiz, Create New, and we'll just call this Example 2 because I already did Example 1. And you'll notice down here you can share using this code for the Socrative. But down here, I want to show you the three question options that you have. Multiple choice. What is 1 plus 1? Put in your answer options. And then make sure you select your correct option. Now, if you want to put in an image, for instance, as part of your question, you would go in here and you would upload the JPEG itself right into the question would also feature the image. So it's pretty nice. Maybe you have a primary document or a map or a JPEG of a passage out of a book, for instance. You can edit it and put it right in there. Another nice option about this platform is, as you notice in Google Forms and in Kahoot, you really can't do much in terms of adjusting the font and editing of the font. In Forms, you can change somewhat. They give you four different options in terms of font, but in Socrative, it does a really nice job of allowing you to format. So you just simply select the formatting option. You can bold, you can italicize, you can underline, subscript, superscript, whatever it is that you would like to do. This is a very nice feature, especially, for instance, language arts, social studies. Maybe you're going to highlight a specific passage from a book or a poem or whatever it is. You can put the passage itself, italicize it, and then put the author's name underneath. When you complete the question, hit save, and now it is saved for you. The second question is true, false. 1 plus 1 is 2. And you would select the true option. And Now, what you'll notice here, once you have that question saved, you can actually move the question order around a little bit. So it's pretty nice, gives you some flexibility. This will allow you to just copy the question itself. And the last answer, excuse me, question option is short answer. What is 1 plus 1? And if you want to add in a correct answer, you can. So 2. You can put in an explanation if you would like. That's up to you. Save. And now you're ready to go. If you have this, for instance, this is the quiz or assessment that you want to give, you're good to go. So up here, we want to select save and exit. Now, what's important, once we have that ready to go, we can go to launch, and this is where we will provide access for our students to that specific assessment. I'll talk more about the rest of these options in a second, but right now I want to make sure we finish what we started here with our assessment. So to launch, you simply select quiz, and this will bring up all the quizzes which you have created previously. So for right now, we're going to select example 2. And you have different feedback options and pacing options with which you can have the students utilize while taking the quiz. So instant feedback, this allows you to have the students work at their own pace. So for instance, if you're giving an exam, students don't have to wait on anybody else. They can answer the questions as they come to them. Now they cannot go back and change answers. So once they've answered a question, that's it. They can't go back. And if you choose the option, you can provide instant feedback after each question. We'll talk more about that in a moment. In all of these options, you're going to see the progress monitored in this live table results, which we'll go over in a moment. Open navigation, students can answer these questions in any order, and they can go back and change answers later. Again, up to you how you would like to do that. And then lastly, we have teacher paced. This allows you as the instructor or the teacher to control the pace of the question. So the students cannot see any question unless you have selected it to be able to be presented to the entire class. So you can skip questions, you can go back to questions. It's really up to you. This is a great thing, especially if you're doing like maybe a bell work, or you're doing some type of activity where you're assessing student opinions about a specific topic. So for the purpose of this activity, I'm going to select instant feedback. And you'll notice here on the right side, we have a variety of options for how we want this to look once we start to see our results. So we can require names or not. Maybe you want it to be anonymous. That's up to you. You can shuffle the questions, so the order of the questions are different for each student. You can shuffle the answer options so that they are different for each student. And then right here, this is an important one that you're going to want to really think about. Show question feedback. So with this option, if you have it selected like here, at the end of each question, once the students submit their answer, they're going to get instant feedback right away. So they will know if they got that question correct or if they got that question wrong. And just from experience, it's really not a very good one to have or it's not very good to leave it on when you are doing, for instance, like a test, or especially like a midterm or things of that nature. Because what I found is students tend to get distracted and they get emotionally really invested in each question, and did they get it right or wrong? And it can really impact them moving forward in a positive, but oftentimes in a negative manner. So what I like to do, and again, this is up to you, this is going to depend on your style and your students and all those things. I like to turn that off, and I like to always make sure I have show final score on. So that way the student won't get their grade until the very, very end. So they aren't constantly thinking about it while they're taking the actual quiz itself. Once you have selected your options which you would like, you hit start, and now your activity is launched. And you'll notice you can tell that it's launched because here in the results tab up top, you'll see like a pulsing signal coming out. That means you have your quiz live. Now remember, you can only have one quiz launched live at a time in the free version. So here, you'll see if you want to have your students' names showing, go for it. If not, you just turn it off. Show answers, again, up to you. Class total. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and open this up in another tab so that you can see what the questions look like for the students. So now I'm back at the main menu, student login. They will enter your class name here. And then they can enter a last name, initials, whatever it is that you would like, have them enter the name. As you can see, here's the multiple choice question. Now notice the answer options are shuffled. Here is your true false. And then here is your short answer. I got a 3 out of 3. Now you'll notice 3 of the questions were graded, but on the short answer question, if I did not input the number 2 as the correct answer, it would be an ungraded item. So be careful on that, how you want to do that. So the student sees this, okay, they're finished, they have a 3 out of 3, that's a 100%. Fantastic. Now we want to go back and look at how it appears for you, the teacher. So from the teacher's perspective, you'll notice you can analyze scores by 3 different ways. You can look at their progress percentage, the score percentage, that will change here. So they got 100% on the quiz, or the number that they got correct pops up right here. You can organize by last name, so that's really fantastic for when you're putting it into the grade book. Now, you'll notice here you have the 3 question options. If the students got the question right, it will appear in green. If it's incorrect, it will appear in red. Underneath, you will have a class total for each question. To view individual questions, you simply select the question number, the question will pop up, and you select the how do we do option, and that will tell you how each student did, because it will give you the number of answers that were responded by each student in each category, and then a percentage for those. And you just simply, to move to the next question, hit the next button, how do we do, next button, and you can hide answers, you can show names, whatever it is that you want to do on this one. When you're finished, you can either A, go back to the results table, or hit finish. And then it will ask you, do you want to end the current activity? You select yes. Now from here, we go to the reports section. We simply click on the quiz itself that we're looking to analyze the data for. Go back and hit the reports option in the top right corner, and you'll see the different options that'll pop up for you: individual students, individual questions. You can get it sent by email. You can save it directly to your Google Drive. There's a lot of different options for you to analyze this material and analyze the results of your teaching or the quiz or whatever it is that you had. So that's how you would launch a quiz. But as I mentioned earlier, we have a couple other options here that I wanted to show you real quick. If you just want to ask one question to the class, you would have 3 options: multiple choice, true, false, and short answer. Again, make sure your room number is available and visible. Space race, this is a competition style element where you select the number of groups, and each group is given like a rocket icon. And as the students answer the questions, as they get them correct, they're in a race with each other. And the first group to get the questions correct, you'll see it's a game, right? And you'll see the rockets moving individually, so it becomes a race, literally a race between groups to be the first one to accomplish and get to the goal line. An exit ticket, this is the last one I want to show you. This is a really nice option because sometimes as teachers it's really hard to close and really finalize our lesson and assess our student learning. So at the end of each lesson, we don't have time to type up a Google form or make copies for an exit slip. But what this application does, Socrative does, is it does a fantastic job allowing you to do that automatically. And you will see, you can again show names, show answers. They give you 3 question options. The first question in the exit slip is, how well did you understand today's material? You can see the 4 options categories here. Question 2 is, what did you learn in today's class? This is a short answer, which students would input what they learned in your class that specific day or lesson or whatever it is. And then lastly, you have a specific question that maybe you asked to the students, and they would put that information here into question number 3. And just like you would on a space race or on a quiz, when you are finished, you simply select the finish option, yes, okay, and you're good to go. And now notice there's no pulsing signal coming out of results, which tells you you don't have anything live or active right now. So just be careful with that. Make sure your room name is selected, what you would like, and you're ready to go. And then to start or launch a new quiz, another quiz, you just go back to the launch option and everything is available there to you again. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you're able to use Socrative as an assessment tool in your class very soon. It's fantastic for both formative and summative, whatever it is that you would like to use. And best of luck to you using this technology moving forward.